Thank you. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the program. My name is Doc Watkins. I'll be your host tonight. I'm joined by Brandon Guerra on the drums and guest bassist Daniel Durham on the bass. My special guest tonight is acclaimed vocalist and pianist Champion Fulton. We'll get to the music in just a minute, but first, let's have a look at the JazzTexas news. In the music industry, as part of 2020's concerts held in abandoned amusement parks, heavy metal legends Metallica did a show that was broadcast live to hundreds of drive-in and outdoor theaters across the US and Canada. Fans who attended said after 5 months of having to quarantine, it was great to finally get out of the house and enjoy getting high inside their vehicles. Louisiana State junior Jamar Chase, considered the top wide receiver in the nation entering the 2020 football season, has decided to forego this season and enter the 2021 NFL Draft. Chase said this will allow him to more quickly accomplish his dream of winning a Super Bowl. Unless, of course, he's drafted by the Dallas Cowboys. United Airlines has become the first major airline in history to announce that they are eliminating ticket change fees on domestic flights, effective immediately. During a global pandemic, this comes as great news to the 11 people still planning to fly. And finally, in an Instagram post, Grey's Anatomy actor Sarah Ramirez, who starred as Dr. Callie Torres, announced that she identifies as non-binary. In a related story, Cameron Diaz, who recently quit her acting career, announced she identifies as non-talented. And that's it for the JazzTexas news. Well, we'll get to the music in just a minute, folks, but first, I want to offer everybody a toast. Thank you for tuning into the program this evening, especially those of you who ordered curbside from JazzTexas. Our kitchen and our bar are now open 5 days a week, and we hope you'll join us for dinner and drinks and a live show regularly. So here's to friends, family, jazz, and years to come. Cheers. All right, we're going to get started with a tune by the great Duke Ellington. I'm going to start out with a little drums from Brandon Guerra, C-Jam Blues. Woo! Brandon Guerra on the drums, Daniel Durham on the bass. That's C-Jam Blues. Want to give a big shout out to KRTU 91.7, our media sponsor, one of the greatest jazz radio stations on the planet. Make sure and tune in to KRTU 91.7 when you're on your way to work in the morning, in the shower, sleeping at night, or on your way back home from work in the evening, eating dinner, breakfast, and what have you. We also want to give a special shout out to our production crew over on the audio, Caitlin Hill, and on the video production, Mr. Chris Zients. Science! With Wizard Broadcasting. This next number was composed by Herbie Hancock a long time ago called Maiden Voyage. We hope you enjoy. That's Maiden Voyage by Herbie Hancock. Brandon Guerra on the drums, Daniel Durham on the bass. My special guest this evening has been described by the Detroit Free Press as the most gifted pure jazz singer of her generation. She was named Pianist and Vocalist of the Year in 2019 by Hot House magazine and the Jazzmobile's Readers' Poll. She's been praised by the New York Times for her genius and charm. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the program, Miss Champion Fulton. Champion, welcome to the show.
Hi, thanks for having me. I'm happy to be here.
Thank you for joining us. How are things going out there in New York City?
I think they're going pretty good. We are having some gigs outside, and I've been live streaming, and we're just enjoying this nice end of summer weather we're having.
Yeah, I bet it's about to get cold pretty soon.
Unfortunately.
Champion, how long have you been out in New York for?
I came to New York in 2003 to go to college. I went to SUNY Purchase for jazz piano studies.
Mm-hmm. And did you study voice at that time?
No, I didn't. I was already singing professionally. I mean, I was working, and I really wanted to focus on piano. I felt like that was more, there was more for me to learn there in the piano area.
Yeah. I've met more jazz musicians over the years that have saved up all their money and moved out to New York City to live the dream of being a real live New York City jazz musician. And after 6 months, they're back home, they're out of money, they couldn't get a gig, the competition was too tough. It sounds like you didn't have much of a problem. How'd you do it?
Well, I came out here, I was 17. One of the first clubs I visited was Birdland, and I was talking to the manager and telling him I had just come to New York, and they were looking for a piano player to play Happy Hour. And I just lucked into that gig within the first few weeks of moving here. And that led to a lot of other work. So I was very lucky.
You were 17 when you moved to New York? Did
Yeah.
you start college at 17?
Yes.
Did you skip a grade in high school?
I skipped a grade in grade school. And then I also did early entry. So I'm from Oklahoma, and I did my senior year of high school and a freshman year at OU, University of Oklahoma, at the same time.
So you went to college when you were 16?
I guess so. Yeah, but just those big classes, you know, like Anthropology 101 and English Lit 101, things like that.
All the easy ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, an aside, when I took physics in college and I knew I was going to fail, and the week before the finals, I went to talk to the teacher. I said, you know, it's my last semester. You got to help me out. I can't not graduate this year. Is there anything you can do? And he said, because all I had to do was not get an F, you know, anything else other than an F. And I was like, I would take it. And he looks at all my paperwork and he says, I'm sorry, Mr. Watkins, there's really nothing I can do. Even if you ace the final, there's no chance you can get higher than a D+. And I was like, I'll take it. And that's what I got in physics was a D+, and I graduated. So, but you were like screaming through the stuff when you were 16 years old. So obviously I'm jealous, but did you know that you were bright and that you were obviously you knew you were ahead of the game in school.
Well, I really loved school, and I loved reading, and I loved learning and studying, but I also really wanted to be a jazz musician, and I knew the sooner I could get done with school, the happier my mother would be with me being a jazz musician, because she really wanted me to have a college degree, and I really just wanted to get that out of the way.
So how was it that you were a jazz musician and a smart person at the same time?
I think there's historically more of that than maybe there is contemporarily.
No, these guys are cracking up. No, it's true. You know, jazz musicians we like to goof around and everything. And did you just knew what you wanted? Did you know what you wanted to do from an early age?
Yeah, I remember in kindergarten. You know, they say draw what you want to be when you grow up, and I drew myself on stage at a jazz club.
How old were you when you did that?
4 or 5.
So forgive me, we've never met, and we're going to bring you down to JazzTexas. I'm trying to sort you out through this interview because you're from Oklahoma, and when you were 4 or 5, you knew you wanted to be a jazz musician, and you moved to New York City when you were 17 and immediately scored a gig. Was there a relative in the family who played jazz?
Yeah, my father.
Oh, tell me about that.
My father, Stephen Fulton, plays trumpet and flugelhorn. We still play together a lot. And he was best friends with Clark Terry. And we were living in Norman, just up I-35. And I just saw jazz all the time. I saw Major Holly, I saw Ray Brown Trio, I saw Clark, I saw Joe Williams, and it was fun. And they sounded great, and they were having a good time. And I wanted to do it. I just wanted to be a part of it.
Yeah. So what's your favorite place to play in New York City?
Oh, Birdland.
Why's that?
Well, it's the first place I ever played here. And I just love it. It's like my home base. I've seen so many people play there. I saw Oscar Peterson.
Wow.
I've seen Lou Donaldson. I used to see Namani Alexander. I saw Paul Motion there. I saw Dave Liebman. I used to love Dave Liebman's quartet. It's just a great club, and it was always easy to get to. And I've been playing there off and on for 17 years.
Wow. Last time I was at Birdland, I saw Joey DeFrancesco, and it was in January, and it was in single digits, and no one was there. It was us and a couple other tables because the whole place was snowed in, and it was one of the greatest shows. Sometimes when a musician, everything goes against you, you sometimes play your best, and Joey just said, well, there's nobody here, let's have a good time. And golly, it was such a memorable moment, and that was at Birdland. So you have a new CD.
That's how it is there. Yes, I do.
You have a new CD. Tell us about that.
My new record is called Bird Song. I have one right here. I'm going to show it to you if I can get it on the screen without the glare. Mm-hmm. It's celebrating the centennial of Charlie Parker, which just happened on August 29th.
Yeah.
It features my band, plus a special guest of Scott Hamilton on the tenor saxophone. And it's tunes that Bird wrote. We recorded Quasimodo, we recorded Yardbird Suite, and then also some standards that he's known for playing.
Scott Hamilton on saxophone, right?
Yes.
How does he play the sax when he does those ice skating backflips?
It's so funny because on Instagram, if you look up #Scott Hamilton, it's a mix of like tenor saxophone and ice skating.
Are there any memes of Scott Hamilton playing the sax? The other
there
Scott
should
Hamilton.
Be a meme. That's a good idea, but I'm not a good meme maker, but we should put that out there in the world.
So Champion, I see right behind you, there just so happens to be a piano sitting there. I don't know how it got there, but I'm hoping that it wouldn't be too much trouble to ask you to play and sing something for us.
Yeah, I'd love to. I will do something from my new record. You came to me from out of nowhere. You came along and set my heart free. Wonderful dreams, wonderful schemes from nowhere. Made every hour sweet as a flower to me. If you should go back to your nowhere, leaving me with just a memory, I'll always wait for your return out of nowhere, hoping you'll bring your love back to me. If you should go back to your nowhere, leaving me with just a memory, I'll always wait for your return out of nowhere, hoping you'll bring your love hoping you'll bring your love, hoping you'll bring your love to me.
It's called Out of Nowhere.
Yes, Out of Nowhere. I didn't hear what you said at first, but yes.
Is that right? So obviously we can get the CD through your website, champion.net. You're also doing some live streams. You're regularly live streaming. And how can we watch you there?
I have been live streaming every Sunday at 5 p.m. That's Eastern Time, 4 p.m. in Texas, for 25 weeks, which I thought might be the longest, but I see you might have been going longer than me with your show.
Well, we live stream Tuesday, Fridays, and Saturdays, so as long as you stay away from those, I don't care what you do.
That's funny. I was just looking and I thought you have like 30 episodes.
Yeah.
But we're only once a week, so okay, so I'll stay away from your days.
No, I'm joking. Yeah, we started live streaming probably similar to you back in April. You know, after a couple weeks of just chaos and everything, we went right after it, and yeah, we're now into the 30s. It's crazy how quickly that happens.
It's a lot. It's a lot.
Well, Champion, thank you so much for coming on the program. We're going to check out your live stream on Sunday night, every Sunday night at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. For us Texans, that's 4 p.m. Central Time, unless you live in Midland, Odessa, in which case it's 1987.
That's funny.
Make sure and grab Champion's new album at champion.net. Tune in on Sunday nights to watch your live streams. Thank you so much, Champion. Can't wait to bring you down here to Jazz Texas.
Thank you, Doc. I hope to see you soon, and good luck with everything.
All right, you too. See you soon. That's Champion Fulton, everybody. Champion, thank you so much for being so kind as to join us. We'd like to continue on with the program now and do a beautiful ballad for you, written by Victor Young, entitled When I Fall in Love. When I Fall in Love by Victor Young. This next composition is one of my favorites. It's called Someday My Prince Will Come. We like to play this tune often here at Jazz Texas, and it comes from a Disney movie back from the 1930s, the first ever full-length film that Disney ever produced, called Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. And this was one of the theme songs from that movie. And the story goes that the late, great Bill Evans in the 1950s went to the movie theater or saw this movie somehow, and he heard the song, and he thought that would be a wonderful tune to play with my jazz trio. And they started playing it at jazz clubs, and Miles Davis picked it up and recorded it. And ever since then, it's been one of the top jazz standards of all time. But it comes from a kid's movie, and it's a beautiful tune. We hope you enjoy it. Here goes. What's that? Which one? That one? Daniel Durham on the bass, Brandon Guerra on the drums. That's Someday My Prince Will Come. Well, if you're like me, you're sitting in your home right now. Wait a minute. No, if you're like me, you've been sitting in your home quite a lot. It's been very hot outside lately, and we're all trying to do things to occupy our times, playing board games, watching videos, all kinds of other stuff. Some of you have been gardening, I've been hearing online lately. That's terrific that you've been sending me those photos. But we decided to pass the time by creating our own unique board game, which you can play along with right there at home. So without further ado, let's play a special edition of the board game. Well, by now you know how the board game works. We pick two people who are incomparably boring, compare and contrast them both, and then by the end of the game, I get to decide who's the biggest bore. So, by special request, tonight on the board game, who's more boring? Doc Watson or Doc Watkins? Well, on the one hand, Doc Watson was an American guitarist and vocalist of bluegrass, folk, country, blues, and gospel. Doc actually wasn't Doc Watson's first real name, but a nickname. His real name was Medical Practitioner Watson. When he was 2 years old, an eye infection caused Doc Watson to lose his vision. If he were alive today, that would have qualified him to compete in the blind auditions on The Voice. When asked to describe his playing, a top music critic said, Doc Watson's blizzard-quick, flat-picking, and warm, mountain-clear baritone have established the soft-spoken Blue Ridge Mountain native as one of America's premier acoustic musicians. But when fans of Doc Watson were asked to describe him, they said, he played real good. According to Doc Watson, a recording Doc Watson made for the Smithsonian Institution led to being invited to perform at Carnegie Hall, and even the White House. Interesting fact. The current occupant of the White House spends more time listening to Doc Watson than he does Doc Fauci. And on the other hand, Doc Watkins, not to be confused with Doc Watson, is a pianist and vocalist of jazz, blues, and Texas swing. Doc Watkins is not his real name. His real name is Jim, the Texas Hammer Adler. Unlike Doc Watson, Doc Watkins has no vision problems, but when he was 9 years old, he bought a Blind Melon CD. Doc Watkins earned his master's and PhD in music performance from the University of Texas at Austin, which immediately qualified him for a job at Whataburger. In 2016, Doc Watkins opened up his own music venue, JazzTexas, where he performs regularly and hosts the Doc Watkins Show, an hour of live music, awkwardly delivered monologues, and a game that ridicules people from Jeff Bezos to Cameron Diaz for being boring. Musicians ranging from Vince Gill to Emmylou Harris acknowledge their great debt to Doc Watson. However, musicians ranging from Brandon Guerra to Daniel Durham acknowledge their great debt to Doc Watkins, as does audio engineer Chris Zients. It's a tough call, ladies and gentlemen, but if you had to pick who bores you the most, Doc Watson or Doc Watkins, the answer is obviously Doc Watson. My apologies. The correct answer is Doc Watkins. Thanks for playing the board game. All right, moving along with the music now, we'd like to do a song that was made famous back in the 1950s by the legendary Ahmad Jamal. Here is Poinciana. That's a tune called Poinciana. Thank you very much. We got time for one more tune before we say goodnight for the evening. Make sure and join us tomorrow night, Saturday night. We've got special guests. My own brother Jimmy is going to be on the show. He's a bartender here at JazzTexas, and he's having a birthday, and he's going to talk to us about the Houston Astros and about the bar program here at JazzTexas. Make sure and don't miss a special edition tomorrow night with my little brother Jimmy. Once again, thank you to Caitlin Hill on the audio and Chris Zients with Wizard Broadcasting. This next tune is by Bobby Timmons from Art Blakey and the Jazz Messengers. It's called Moanin'. And before we go, I want to remind y'all, so many of you have asked how you can support JazzTexas during these times. Our kitchen and our bar are open for curbside and delivery 5 days a week, Tuesday through Saturday. Now, we hope you'll order from us. And also, we have links where you can donate in the description of the live video, so please consider that. Thank you so much for everything you are doing to support us during the great pandemic of the coronavirus in 2020, soon to be over, we hope. And also, one more shout out to our media sponsor, KRTU 91.7. Here is Moanin' by Bobby Timmons. Daniel Durham on the bass, Brandon Guerra on the drums. Thank you for tuning in tonight. Join us tomorrow night at 8 o'clock Texas time. We'll be there. See you tomorrow night. Good night.